How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? It's myself, Nasipi Zwane, back again with another episode of Sludge Underground podcast. Today I've got a person who is no stranger to the show in Camerøn, who was basically here on the Umsindo Musiek episode. He's currently living in Berlin, Germany. Well, he made his move from South Africa to there, and he is a tribal Afro house DJ slash producer. Cam, welcome to the show, man. How have sort of things been out in Germany for you?
Man, it's been awesome. It was a big change in cultural things, as well as just moving away from your hometown that you've been living in for 21 years of your life to come here. You know, you leave a lot of friends behind, you leave your family and stuff like that, but all in good spirit to pursue my music career. That's what has kept me in good spirits about, you know, when the times are missing friends or family, and especially the gigs. And you basically, it's like starting from square one again with your whole music career in terms of DJing. So it's been a big change, but probably the best change I've made in my whole life. Yeah, for sure.
What is it about Germany, man? You know, obviously you did say the move was motivated by your music career, but what is it that you get in Germany that you don't get here in South Africa?
I think Berlin in general is a hub for musicians. It was also getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of Durban, and deciding to move to Europe, especially Berlin, was something that made sense because of when you're in Berlin as a DJ and as a producer, if you can make it here, you've got the access to Europe. It's cheap flights for the bookers. And this goes for every country though, but I feel like I'm just putting myself in a position where I like to say, maybe in Durban, I was a bit of a bigger fish in a smaller bowl, whereas now I wanted to put myself in the position of being the smallest fish in the biggest bowl. There's so much competition, but good competition. There's so much knowledge around music this side. In terms of the electronic music, I still think South Africa is the hub of music, but the plan is to be able to create something here that I can always go back to South Africa and display it there. And yeah, just in general, just widening my mindset on the different knowledges that people have this side and what they have been doing in the music scene here for decades on decades.
Hey, that is super cool, man. I'm just remembering some of the ways in which you guys did things when it came to, you know, Umsindo Musiek, and in that you guys had ties in Germany as well as in South Africa. Now, considering that Cam is sort of like on his own and doing his own thing, is that still the case? Like, do you still have ties in South Africa, you know, besides family?
Well, yeah. So obviously, the Umsindo boys are close to my heart. Levi Dry, he actually lives like probably a 10-minute walk away from me here. I see him regularly. What we did in South Africa with Squaliso was beautiful, and I have big respect for those boys and everything that we did. And Levi was definitely a part of a role of getting me to, motivating me to get to Berlin. You know, just seeing another South African here, that it also made it more of a comforting thing. I get you, I'm not completely in the unknown. I've got a friend here and stuff like that, and that helped a lot. But yes, still got ties. I've decided to start my own thing, which is a record label called Ikaya Records. I have a team that side, and I run it up with Matty Twig. He's a DJ as well. Just because I'm in Europe doesn't mean I can't still feed the South African scene. I think that's the beauty of our music. It's worldwide. You just have to go onto Spotify, or you just have to send an email, or, you know, stuff like this. So the plan is to just combine Europe and South Africa, and then start traveling all around with those type of things. And we've got a game plan, but we also got to let music take its course.
It's very interesting that you bring up Ikaya Records because, you know, I saw a couple of the gigs that you guys have set up. I know that Trey Donjay was, you know, on the lineup and stuff. So would you say that you're still working with, you know, most of the artists that you were working with, you know, when you were still sort of collaborating with Umsindo? Or is it sort of like a completely different sort of, you know, rollouts in terms of the artists that you're working with this side?
So just the guys that would be on like the Umsindo lineups, nothing changes as we see something in those artists of uniqueness and stuff like that. So Ikaya is definitely focusing on that. And then there's a whole wider spectrum of Ikaya as it being a record label now. You're not only looking for DJs for the events, but you're looking for producers that you want to represent your brand, and they want to grow with us as much as we want them to grow themselves as an individual. So that's a super important thing for me. It comes down to your uniqueness. Even if you're not a producer, you won't obviously be able to submit a track to Ikaya Records then, but for the events and showcases, we're slowly wanting to find producers who are DJs that are completely unique, and we're not fitting into a certain vibe. Ikaya's house music. It's what makes us feel at home. It's something like that. It doesn't have to be Afro, tribal, whatever we can see in a DJ or a producer that makes, like, you can tell a bit of a story behind them without even knowing them, you know? I think that's super important, and we'll carry that ethic with us wherever we go, for sure.
So with Ikaya Records being a thing now, does that mean that Cam is no longer part of, Umsindo, or is that sort of still going?
No, so I was never part of Umsindo. They had a platform. I was got close with Scoliso, and they had a platform, and I wanted to throw events. But at that time in my life, I wasn't ready to create my own brand in terms of like an event. It was more like me putting my effort into building something that I really admired from them. It was more of just putting some energy into a beautiful brand. Even if I'm not a part of it or anything like that, the experiences and the friendships and stuff that you gain from just helping someone else, I think this needs to become more of a topic in terms of everyone in the music business is it doesn't have to be self-centered in terms of those type of things. It's music at the end of the day. What music is supposed to do is bring emotion, bring happiness, bring sadness, but create a whole vibe kind of thing, So I think that's super important. So definitely took some of my skills from working with Umsindo and throwing events there and dealing with artists to now wanting to fully pursue, obviously building myself as a brand, Camerøn, as my own DJ and releasing music under my own record label, but as well as finding music from other talented artists and putting them on a platform that maybe they might not have the access to as easily, or it becomes a quicker route for them to be able to look, especially as a very young label. We haven't got any releases yet. We've got planned releases. We've got guys sending us music. So we're not hunting for the big dogs right now, Definitely in the future, we plan to attract the big dogs, we don't want to go calling for them and stuff like that, We definitely take inspiration from these other huge record labels in South Africa, and I think there can't ever be enough record labels. The more record labels, the more artists get put on, and the more music gets distributed around the whole world. So there's never enough record labels. There's never enough artists, and also artists self-releasing. But I think I have found the attraction to a record label and being a record label owner is digging. How I love digging for music as a DJ to play in my sets is digging for these artists that you want to put onto your platform and grow a relationship with them, not only on a musical level, but on a friendship level, These guys will all play at the Ikaya Record showcases that we have planned in South Africa, as well as in Berlin. We have one, a small one coming up on the 26th, and we plan on having two of the Umsindo guys playing there and stuff like that. It's just a whole network of music, which is what I enjoy. There's never enough of it.
I'm a huge admirer of your drive and passion, man, and the fact that, you took a couple of things that you learned, during the collaboration with Umsindo, and that, you're still trying to unearth, the freshest and then the newer guys that are coming up. And, as much as you are targeting the bigger, guys down the line, it's sort of like there's actually always a chance that, someone that you recruit who started making music yesterday can end up, blowing up.
For sure. Even when we have the platform to, say, Ducapo's wanting to release with us, or, Napa, these are big time players in the scene, and not only on the South African level, but a global level, man. This won't stop us from digging for unnoticed talent. That's the beauty of music. Is one guy's peaking in his career, yet the other guy's just bought his first laptop and there's something in store for him. I think that's super important to stay grounded and stay humble as a label. Is talent and hard work doesn't amount to how many followers you have. Of course, that changes with regards to sales in your music and revenue from those type of things and the bookings that these artists gain. That is a different factor for sure. But I think when it comes to music and hard work and talent and sounding like really good sounding music, this is an even playing field. It really is, because I could put out say like you start a little network of people that are unnamed. There's no names and they release music. Now, the people that listen to that music, they won't know the power behind or the famousness or whatever behind it, because at the end of the day, it's an audio. That's what it is, So I think that's super important to also just remember that just because of the amount of followers or whatnot, it doesn't mean the music is better, maybe more experienced and more definitely more skilled in terms of those things. But yeah, just overall, one would look to work with everyone who has good music. That's what it is.
Speaking of planned releases, we are obviously going to touch on Dear Papa, which is your EP, that's basically coming up. But before we get to that there, when you mentioned a couple, it reminds me of a very interesting interaction between you and Slow Waves. I think it was on Instagram. Are you guys sort of working together? How far back does this, friendship actually go?
Yes, so we do have plans to work on stuff. Funny story, I've been doing music since like 13, 14 years old. I've released one song that was a techno song, but before all of that, I used to run a record label at the age of 15 years old called Space Sounds Recordings. And we had I signed a few guys, and Slow Wave was our in-house producer and stuff like that, and just a good friend overall. Just a bunch of guys that had a dream for sure. So people that were at my house, sleeping at my house on the weekends, because I had a bottom basement. I was privileged enough to be able to ask my parents, can I get a microphone? Can I get a software? Can I record my friends? And these group of friends were guys like Blackie, #1 hip hop selling artist in the world. He was at my school, but he used to spend weekends just recording at my house. I used to shoot music videos of them. And Slow Wave was one of those guys that was there all the time, producing most of the beats. And I learned a lot from him when I was producing hip hop as well. So yeah, and then he's obviously now making huge waves in the Amapiano scene, and this attracts me a lot as Amapiano, another genre that is just born in South Africa. It's a product of South Africa, and it's got house elements to it completely. It's just a different tempo, and it's a beautiful genre. I do enjoy it. So yeah, after I've been noticing him, and we've always been on and off chatting and all of that, catching up with each other, because we made good memories back in the day for sure. So we've definitely got some projects coming up. He has a beautiful voice and he's a very talented producer. So we're going to see where that goes. Might be a little bit of a weird collaboration, but I mean, weird is so good as well, So I definitely do look forward to working with him as well.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, the fact that you were doing that at, the age of 15, and you were sort of surrounding yourself with people, the likes of, Slow Waves, before you even mentioned Blackie. I mean, that is sort of like good enough for people to actually realize that, hang on, Ekaya Records is a force to be reckoned with. Like, they're dealing with the person who knows what they're doing, especially considering the fact that, you've been at this for a very long time, and, you've also worked with a lot of the people who are actually doing really well right now.
Definitely have your eye on Ekaya. We have big plans. We look forward to all of it, honestly, and it's going to be run so professionally from mine and Matt's side that there's no reason for failure here or anything like that. I'm not 15 years old with a bunch of friends making music, which isn't a bad thing, but this time I'm looking to discover artists from all around the world. We're already in chats with guys from the Netherlands. We're we've got some guys from South Africa, of course. How can I ignore South Africa? I'm from there. The producers are world class, and we look at capitalizing on all of this and giving everyone a platform for sure, and as well as throwing events. I think as we've always mentioned, urban scenes obviously lacked a bit and stuff like that. I think Ikaya and all the promoters and stuff, there's big change coming, and in a good way for sure. So we're definitely on the looks to not only take over Durban in terms of promoting this house music and all of that, but take over South Africa, just how the big guys are doing, like Shimza and Daru. I actually met them both in Berlin and had a good chat with them and stuff like that, and what they're doing with Kunye, and that definitely set in stone my mind what I want to do. I'm so deeply in love with this genre of music, the togetherness that it gives off, just the positivity, and it's just a community that there can't be, and it needs to keep growing. It has to. It's still early stages, so Ikaya is going to gain inspiration from these big guys, from the small guys, and just become our own unique sound. I can't say, a record that Coffee puts out, Ikaya is gonna. We're looking for guys that are making beautiful songs like Coffee is. We're looking for the new Coffee, unique Coffee. Someone like that. Definitely big plans and lots to look out for with Ikaya Records.
It's an honor and a privilege to actually sort of get, some insights on Ikaya as a record label. And obviously earlier on we did touch on the fact that, you've got an EP coming up called Dear Papa. I want you to just tell me a bit more about that there. I understand it's 3 tracks, right?
Yes, so it's a 3-track EP. It's dedicated to my father. He always believed in my music career, which I guess in some households isn't really a big thing. It's like, go be a lawyer. He was a dentist himself, so it's you would expect you got to do this part. So no, it was always just music. So I thought my first EP under Camerøn will be dedicated to him. It's a 3-track EP, and I think it's a really beautiful EP. It's basically, I'd say 90% finished. There's a few more small touches that need to happen, and then obviously the promotion and all of those type of things, but it's very deep house. I'd just say house music. It's a beautiful EP. I got Lotus Sky on one of the tracks called Kwanele, and the 10% that's not finished is just the other vocals that I'm waiting on. It's not supposed to be a club EP where it's a raw EP expressing musical emotions, and definitely something that I'm very happy with. When I make music, I tend to always go into the minor chords, and it becomes more of a emotional, or not emotional, but more of a driving side of me, because obviously coming from a DJ, when I played with melodica, from a techno background, so those driving bass lines and stuff like that, and then this EP took a whole turn on me, which is completely fine. It just, you need to go in this direction, just house music, something that could be played on the radios, stuff like that. And I wasn't aiming for that, but I'm very happy the way that it turned out for sure.
And you also cited having worked with Amapiano Berlin. So how much of a role did Amapiano Berlin actually play in sort of, getting the EP sort of together, if, Amapiano Berlin actually played any role at all?
Oh, so that is my friend James. He actually did the mastering for the EP. So he's more of an audio engineer. The way I know him is through the place that I do audio engineering here as well, at SAE. And slowly building my friendship with him. He's a really nice guy. He's very takes a lot of passion. I think if you look at my friend circle, everyone has the same quality about them. They're passionate about music and pushing themselves and brands, I guess. So this is what you'll find in a lot of people that I work with. It sounds cliche, but you really do have to surround yourself with the people that have got the same vision in a way, not the same vision, but the same drive, I guess. And I guess this also, you can't force that. It's got to come naturally for sure, So I met him, and very energetic person when it comes to music and his passion in it. So yeah, will definitely be working with me a lot more, I think, in terms of engineering the tracks as much as I would as well when my full knowledge is there. That's the whole reason I'm studying. But yeah, great guy, and yeah, he's very helpful.
This is one of the reasons why I thoroughly enjoy, having conversations with you, is because he's so driven, and it always inspires me to, push a little further. And as you say, it's always sort of like a natural process. It can't be forced. Looking at the EP, the Camerøn EP, give us a date, man. I know there's about 10% of work left, but if you had to estimate, when should we sort of expect the EP to sort of be released?
Yeah, so as back onto that natural thing, I guess this is a side of me that isn't too natural. It's like the EP is so beautiful and stuff, but then I can't give a date when it comes to I'm waiting on vocals. What if I get those vocals back and they don't resonate with me? I can't rush that process, So realistically, we're looking at March. I do always second guess and stuff like this because day by day, I'm constantly making better music. This is a fact. So I've made my EP, and now I've produced 4 other EPs that are now, I feel, better than this EP. But you can't look at it that way. And I have to keep reminding myself, it's like, what if you keep making better music and then the next day is another better song and you keep changing what you're wanting to release? I guess this is a tendency of mine, but it's also a good thing because I'm wanting to only put out something that is 150%. The EP is 90% done. I'm 120% happy with it. The EP needs to get 100% finished, and I need to be 150% happy with this, just to compensate for the people that this music's going to resonate. So let's say March, definitely a goal for me. It was supposed to actually be out this month, and I was like, I cannot release this EP without I need more vocals. So, and that's also one thing that I've been doing is that has also taken a bit of the process, taken a bit of time, is trying to work with vocalists in South Africa while I'm in Berlin isn't the easiest thing, but that is super important for me because the voice of Africa in general is probably the best vocalist in the world. You can't get better. You can't. In all of the languages. From English to Xhosa to Zulu, all of them. I don't care if I don't understand it. It's just resonates, So I think that's super important for me is, obviously getting this process done, but getting the right vocalists on it because it's a dedication to my father as well as it's my Camerøn's first debut EP. It has to be 150% right.
That is very beautiful, man. And now one final point before we move on to handles and obviously the future and the plans that you guys have for Ekaya Records is the collaboration that you guys have with Apes, which is like a clothing sort of thing that's going on there. So what is basically happening on the apparel front of things? And I saw that Taryn, who is your significant other, your partner, has also got some role when it comes to the apparel together with Apes. So let us on a bit more details when it comes to that collaboration.
Yeah, from apparel, Apes is he's very talented. It's super unique. That's the way I can put it. He's drawn on a few of my clothes and stuff like that before I left, and I found him at a market by the park in Durban, and I fell in love with his artistic and his creativity as an artist. And I thought, I'm not going to be that record label that, just pays a big company to, here's the design, print it onto a hoodie for me, then we'll make money off of it. That's not really what it is. Firstly, is like I said, same as the music artist. He is the head of apparel and stuff like that for when an EP drops, and we have merch like that. But the beautiful thing about what he has planned on and the thoughts that he's given me is, okay, we want to make 20 hoodies, okay, for the release of Dear Papa, and each hoodie is going to be its complete own hoodie. Like it's not going to have the same design. We'll have but he does his paint work over it, and so that's also a very big thing about uniqueness. Is okay, you're going to buy a merch. Just so you know, you're not getting the same one as the other 20. That's the beautiful thing about it. So he's got really good ideas with that, and he's constantly working and thinking of that. And then Taryn obviously is, the most talented digital designer, I feel. And she's obviously going to be working hand in hand with him, as well as for the EP covers. And we have a plan for obviously more events. We're in the talks for an exclusive yacht party that will be streamed, and then that will lead up to a bigger venue that we're about to land in Durban, and this will grow into let's say 2 times a month or a monthly thing, where these constant it's not just a club, it's an actual outdoor experience, which I feel we need more of in Durban. Is a place for people to go every weekend, but it's not their same bar, it's not their same club, but it's an outdoor experience with different music each time, type of thing like that, for sure. So Ekai is planning on a monthly showcase type thing, where it's happening each month, and different places for sure. And and then Berlin is still a bit closed down with COVID restrictions and all of that, so I can't really make too many calls on that, and I'm still very new here, so I've still got to meet a lot of people, and this will all happen in due time. Kaya Records has Kaya Records Radio Season 1 coming out probably next week. This will be 2-hour mixes from DJs that we pick out from all across the world. We've got mixes from Trey sent in to us already. Trey is the DJ. He's from the Netherlands. So Kaya Radio will be having 4 DJs every season, which is basically like a monthly thing. This will not only grow the whole genre of house music, but grow these artists as well, and for people to see when Ikai starts throwing events and stuff like that in the upcoming weeks, and the plans are already in place, that people can know, okay, it's got to be more about, I want to go and watch this guy because I really enjoyed his mix that was on Ikai Radio Season 1. Or Ikai Radio Season 2, I want to go and watch him because I've been jamming this in my car on my way to work every day. It's like, now it's time to actually go and watch the guy. So this is definitely a platform for people to discover new music and also find out about these artists, for sure.
Hey man, I'm super excited about the future of Ekai Records. I mean, I think anyone else who's listening to this as well should be super excited about that, because you've got a vision, you've got a goal, or certain goals that you guys are trying to reach, and knowing your track record, man, these are things that are you definitely capable of achieving those things. So I'm wishing you all the best moving forward. So if anyone wants to get in touch with either you or wants to interact or work with Ekai Records, what are the social media handles?
Yes, so on social media, you can find us at Ekai Records, and then on Facebook as well, for the upcoming musicians and artists who feel like they've got something unique and special and beautiful to deliver, and possibly sign with us and sign a track with us, or just this natural process of getting music out there. Please do reach us on our socials, as well as our email, records.ikaya@gmail.com. Send through your demos. Send through 1,000 demos a week. It's honestly never enough. Just send it. We want to hear, and we will definitely look forward to working with artists as well. You can follow me on Instagram, Camerøn _official. I will be getting all my news from my EP coming out. I've been a bit quiet as I've been deep in the studio lately, and trying to be off social media a bit, give the brain and the mind a bit of a release, for sure. So you can definitely check me out there, upcoming gigs also when the world opens this side, and all of that, for sure.
Yeah, that is very awesome, man. I want to take this opportunity to just thank you for joining me on the show, and just teaching me and informing the listeners as well about Ekai Records and all the plans that are coming up in your time in Berlin, Germany as well. I hope everyone who's been listening has learned as much as I've learned today. And obviously, if you have tuned in till the end, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and do check out all our content, which basically goes up on our website, brand new website, that is www.sludgeunderground.com. That is where you'll be able to find all our latest episodes. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please consider subscribing, and also leave us a review. If you're listening on Spotify, do follow us and give us a review on there as well. These are things that you can basically do to help the podcast reach more people. We'd highly appreciate that. And as for myself, it's @Zwane031 on social media with Sludge Underground. It's at Sludge Underground on every other platform except Twitter. We are at Sludge031. From myself and Camerøn, be sure to check out everything that's happening in the world of Ekaya Records, as well as in Cam's life. And until next time, it is bye for now.